Welcome. This is our first workflow. In workflows, we will mostly select filters manually to our filter stack from filter catalog as per the need of an image. Here, we won't use any specific workspace. The purpose of workflow is to show you how you can easily make adjustments to your image within a very short time. Here, I won't explain you about any filters, just show you the practical approach towards an image. Here, we will use filter brushes to highlight specific areas and try to get more out of that particular area without affecting the entire image. So without wasting any time, let us see our first image. This is a landscape image which is underexposed to preserve the details. And yes, it is a raw file, so we can recover more details from the image as per our own taste and preference. Let me first add raw develop filter to begin the process. Just for the purpose of information, note that whenever you select raw image, you automatically have a raw develop filter in the filter catalog. Develop filter is unavailable in case of raw images. Okay, let me close the filter catalog. Now, here for this particular image, the image is too cool. So let me add some warmth to this image. So the unit which is shown over here is 5260. So let me increase it by 600 units, and not 600, let me increase it by 400 units. Okay, so adding 400 units becomes 5600. Okay, now our image gets a bit of warmth to it. Okay, now let me add new adjustment layer. Okay, under DSC underscore 0468 layer, which is our main image layer, I only just adjusted the temperature of this image, and highlight, shadows, white, blacks, clarity, I left it unaltered. If I have to do anything, I would be doing in all those things in the image layer, new image, adjustment image layer. Okay, so layer 0 is our new adjustment image layer. So the first filter that I select is accent AI filter. Okay, give it a boost, 90 units. Okay, fine. Now let me recover the highlights and lift the shadows. So I have highlights and shadow options over here. So let me select this filter. Now I recover the entire highlights and I lift the shadows to 100%. Great. Now let me add a bit of clarity to the image. Okay, I get clarity over here. I drag the clarity slider to 90 units. Okay, if it gets heavier at the end of the process, we would adjust it a bit. But for this case, I am taking 90 units. Okay, now let's move to our next filter, that is dehaze. Again, bringing the slider to 90 units. If needed, we can adjust it later. Next, since this image still looks cool to me, I think I want to add some warmth to it. And as if this is a time of sunset, warmth really enhances the image quality. So to add the warmth, I would select brilliance and warmth filter. Okay. Uh, Without affecting the vividness, I would just increase the warmth. Let me bring it to a high amount. Okay, now it looks a bit more warmer considered previously. Okay, now let us add some vibrance to the image. And you know that vibrance specifically hit a particular color. Means it really helps to enhance a particular color. So here is our saturation and vibrance filter. So let me increase the vibrance slider. This time a small amount. Okay. Uh, Now let us add advanced contrast to our filter stack. Here is advanced contrast. Okay. See, we have recovered entire highlights from our highlights and shadows filter. So a sudden boost in this amount slider would really affect the image. Okay, at 100% it's too strong. So let me bring down it to 50. I think it's still strong. So let me get it down to 40. Okay, at 40 it is quite noticeable and it fits to the image. Okay, then we have the midtones. Midtones would give a bit of boost to this greeneries and the clouds in the skies. So see, it's too strong. So let me bring it to 40. Okay, it is perfect for the image. Next, we can see the light over here in this part of the image, over here, and over here. A type of whitish tint is followed. So, to remove this whitish tint from these areas, I have to add polarizing filter. So, let's search for the polarizing filter. Okay, here it is. Let us give it a very small boost. Yeah. Okay. So you can see how these white layers are being cut by polarizing filter. Great. Okay. Next, let me add golden hour filter, which will justify the image capture time. See, if I drag the amount slider to a greater value, it will completely destroy the image. So for this particular image, I would just give a small boost, say around 10 units. Then we need image radiance to bring a glow to this image. So I search for image radiance in the filter catalog. Here it is. Okay. It's a bit too strong. So let me decrease the slider and bring it to 50%. Okay, that's perfect. Now let us add vignette to our image. Okay. Uh, I have added vignette to our filter stack, but not to darken the corners of our image. I just want to take the advantage of inner light slider. It will give a light focus, means it gives a total light effect at the center of the image. So I use it mostly. So let me give it a boost of around 50 units. Okay, if I take it to around 80. Okay, now our image tends to look a bit darker. So if I have to remove this darkness and bring a bit more light to our image, I can utilize the exposure filter. So our exposure filter is over here. And let me increase the exposure by a small amount. Okay, did you notice the lighting in our photo increased? Okay, now let us add HSL filter, hue, saturation and luminance, which is over here. Okay, let me close the filter catalog. I can better handle the image there. Okay, so now under the saturation tab, let me bring down the blues. You can see from the histogram, the blue at the center of the image is too strong. So I would bring down the blues in this image. Okay. Now the hills look a bit more smoother. The greens at the bottom of the image are also a bit strong. So I would decrease the green slider by a small amount. It's getting toned down. So let me increase it. Okay, this is perfect. Now let us toggle the top eyeball button to see how far we have come up with our image. Before, after. Great, we have come a long way. Don't you think so? In this case, we were unable to see the hills clearly, and the bottom of the images was a bit more blurred to identify the color of the trees. So after the all sorts of adjustments that we made using the filters, the image turned out to be this, and now anybody can identify the image content. With the previous image, you might not think it to post to your social media accounts, but after editing process, you might now post this to your all social media accounts. And I'm quite sure people would like it. This is really a fantastic image. But we have to decrease the noise level also. So when I double click on this image, it automatically zoomed in into 100%. See over here. It automatically zoomed into 100%. Okay. So at 100%, you can notice a quite amount of noise in our image. So to remove noise, as usual, we would add denoise filter to our to our filter stack. Okay, as usual, it is placed at the bottom of the filter stack. Let me close the filter catalog and try to reduce the uh, image noise. So let me drag the luminosity slider on 30%. Okay, let us increase a bit more. Okay, I need a bit more boost. Fine, this is perfect for the image. Similarly, a color boost. Okay, we are done with our denoise filter. So let us double click on the image once again. It automatically select the fit to screen ratio. Okay. Now, one thing that we are going to do special in this image is that we are going to use dodge and burn filter. That's fine. You know how to use dodge and burn filter. But in this case, our approach would be different. So what we are going to do is that here in the case, in this particular image, you can see over areas over here, I am pointing with the mouse, see areas over here, uh, and along this particular line, you can see a small white blurry effect coming up. This is actually this has actually come up due to the dehaze filter that we have used uh, in our filter stack. Similarly, the dehaze filter has also produced a white effect above this hill also. So we need to reduce this. So we can reduce this with the help of dodge and burn filter, and I don't want to affect the entire filter with this entire image with this particular filter. So what I do is that I select the brush tool over here and select brush. This allows me to paint the particular areas and create a selection so that whenever I apply dodge and burn filter, it only affects those areas which I have painted, rather which I have selected. Let us see how it happens. Okay, mm, let me first decrease the size of the brush circle. Okay, now let me click this eyeball button over here. Great. And now I start painting over here. So these are the parts which have been really affected by the dehaze filter. So I am just indicating the areas. This indicated areas will only affected by the dodge and burn filter, and the rest of images won't be affected. This means that while doing the dodge and burn, while doing the darkening effect on this particular image, if my brush gets out of this particular area, particular indicating areas that is painted in red, it won't affect the other parts of the image. So this has already been selected. Now let me select this part also. Okay, a small over here. Okay, fine. Now I can click done. Okay, now we can start painting. I want to darken these areas, so I have to select darken, reduce the brush circle, Okay, and let me reduce the strength, otherwise it would come out too hard. So I would love to take it at 12%. Fine. Now let us start painting. Did you notice? If I paint down over here, it won't affect my image because I haven't selected this area. Before starting the painting, I have only selected these areas which I need to be changed. So when I take my brush over other areas which I haven't selected, it won't create any effect. So let me color dark to this particular areas. Okay, so you can see that they are being reduced. The white lines have now decreased a lot. In the case of here, okay, we were able to manage to remove those white shadows that were created with the haze filter. Great. A bit more here. Okay, now I'm quite happy with the image. Now, let us once again toggle off the eyeball button here to compare the both states of the image, and let us judge how far we have brought our image. This was the original image and this is the adjusted image. Awesome. You can use the split screen option to judge the effect. Great. A long way. Fine. Now, one more thing. If you find this entire image a bit too strong, then you need not go to each and individual filter to adjust the color. You can do it with the help of filters amount slider over here, which is at this moment at 100%. You can decrease the slider to reduce the filter's effect on this image. I bring it to 90%. You can see the effect on our image has been reduced. If you further decrease the slider, it would further get reduced. So you can alter this slider, means you can bring it down or bring it up as per your color preference. For this particular case, I'm going to keep it at 86%. And it gives a quite natural look to our image. So you can notice that though we have come up a long way with our image, but we were able to maintain the naturality of the image. So this is the great advantage of a raw file. I hope you enjoyed the workflow. Thank you and have a nice day.